Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie, I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. It is the 18th of May at about 11 a.m. Pacific time, and we are live. Finally. I've missed a bunch of radio lately, which is so weird for me. There are reasons, I'll tell you about them, but I'm really glad to be here live with you guys today. So I want to let you know that we are over in the chat room. You can find us by heading over to 12radio.com, number2radio.com, and click on the chat button. You'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. Yeah, and my producer Scott is standing by, and he'll gladly approve your request into that room. Easy enough to find. So I would love to see you here. Yeah, so there's the housekeeping. I'm also live streaming this event. You can find that on my fan page on Facebook and also on YouTube. Both are Domestic Mystic Katie Weaver or Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. And that's how to find it if you'd rather watch than listen. And I'm seeing some of you guys pop up there in the live. So good to see you guys here. So yeah, we have had the plague at our house. Seriously, oh my God, we have been sick. It started with Scott, Mother's Day weekend. He was so sick. And by Monday, I was a little scratchy. By Tuesday, Mars had her district softball games, and we went in masks, sitting far away from others because it wasn't good. And though we were, quite sure we didn't have corona because we are fully vaccinated, but then by Thursday, Mars was sick too. And by Friday, I was so sick that I finally went to the doctor. And, indeed did not have corona, but just had, a virus. The doctor said a virus that had turned into a sinus infection and bronchitis. But I can't even tell you guys how sick we have been. It is insane. So that's what's been happening in our house. I am actually feeling a lot better. I don't sound a lot better, but I always kind of do this. If I get sick, it'll go straight to my voice every time. So do know that I feel better than I sound, and I really am okay. But at any rate, wow, not Corona, but Corona's evil twin, because holy hell, this has been something else. So, and from that, my poor nervous system has been so run down that I developed a case of autoimmune hives. That is something that goes along with my health conditions. So anyway, yeah, I kind of felt like, my God, when it rains, it pours, but not really. I mean, I am okay. I will be okay. Luckily for me, I have the luxury of working from home and of having, wonderful people around me and having all the support I need. The other night, Mars and I were complaining loudly that we didn't have any treats or snacks. And my kid in Boise, she door dashed us some treats from Albertsons at like 10 o'clock at night. It was so cute. It was very sweet of her. But, if she was here, she'd be blustering around taking care of us. And since she's not, next best thing, DoorDash. So we have to get feeling better because all of our graduation stuff is starting, all the fun stuff. So Mars's her graduation party is on Sunday, and that's going to double as her signing event because she did finally commit to a college. So she has committed to a school in Montana for her security. I won't just blast that out over the air, but a school in Montana where she'll go to play softball. And it's really fun. There's other girls from this area and boys, actually. There's some baseball players headed to that school that she knows, some softball players that she knows. And already the team has just really embraced her and they're making plans together. And it's just really exciting. So it's very exciting that she finally committed. As you guys know, this has been going on 4 months. She had 4 different schools that wanted her, that she's been trying to choose. She had a moment of kind of chickening out and deciding that she was just not going to go, does not play college ball at all because she didn't want to have to leave home. Then she, she got a wake-up call in the form of we really wouldn't get away with and also probably wouldn't do, but he was like, are you even kidding me? You have been out here training for years. You achieved your goal and now you're too afraid to leave your parents to go. He kind of he gave it to her, and she came home and committed that night. Now, was it under duress? Kind of, not really. I think she needed that little push. And now it's like, the floodgates have broken and she's so excited, and, all the plans now are rolling out. So anyway, we're relieved. We're proud of her. We're glad that she at least has a plan moving forward. So that's what's happening in our world. So I did share her graduation announcement in the chat as well as here in the video so that you guys can see it. Yep, kind of fun. It's crazy to me that this is my last kid leaving home. Like, I'm good on that, but it's kind of bittersweet, kind of. I'm actually realizing how much of high school I'm really not going to miss, especially the high school that my kids have gone to. They have benefited tremendously from this school. I don't want to completely bag on them. However, there have been so many eye rolls over the years and frustrations. Though I will say this, the admin at these schools have been really good to my kids. They've always recognized them as students to believe in, I think. I hope they do that with all kids, but I know my kids have received that beautifully. So anyway, that's all. That's what's up. So yes, I have to get feeling better because we're hosting a big party and it's supposed to be fun, goddammit. Just today I realized I was going to make the cakes. And I told my daughter on the phone this morning, I said, I'm ordering the cakes. And she's like, oh, but you always do this cake for graduation. We do better than graduation cake. Have you guys ever had better than sex cake? I don't know if that's just a colloquial thing around here. But anyway, so for the other two parties, I made these enormous cakes and we called them better than graduation cakes. And I was like, I hate to break with tradition, but truly, I've got to do some things that make life a little bit easier on me and take a little pressure off. So we're going to have better than graduation cakes from Costco this time. And it's fine. It'll be fine. She'll be fine. Anyway, that's where it's at. Our school system has been great. Really great in a lot of ways. Now, Idaho is low on the list. You guys know that on education. However, my complaints about the school have been social because our school is so religious and so conservative, and there have been many eye rolls for me over the years because of things like that. As far as education, at least where we live, it's fantastic, but we're lucky. I know that. We also live in a school district that is quite wealthy because this is a rural area where there's a lot of farmers, and the farmers in this area are the ones, that sell the potatoes all over the world. If you go to eat at Five Guys anywhere, they always have up on their board where their potatoes came from. Almost 100% of the time, they've come within, 15 miles of where I live. So because of that, because there's a lot of farmland, because there's a lot of taxes on that, blah, 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 we live in a zone that is tremendously well funded, and we're really lucky on that. So, but it's socially some of the, yeah, some of the stuff I've heard. When your kid comes home from school in first or second grade, sobbing because their teacher said that their mom is going to go to hell because she drinks coffee. Those are the kinds of things that have bent me the wrong direction over the years. It's how it is. It's okay. Okay, Pamela, you can ask. I'll tell you what. Being sick is nothing for me in the sense of doing my work. As a matter of fact, I have felt like in the past, if I were being sick or even like just having surgery, being like taken down actually increases my psychic gifts. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't bother me. Please don't feel like you can't reach out to me at all. That's just not the case. I am here to serve. And it gives me something to do besides bitch and moan. Right? Who wants that? Who needs that anyway? Okay. So I am going to read out of the chat room today. I've got a couple of Angela Hartfield decks in front of me, but we'll do all of our regular stuff first. So, and I have a bit of a topic as well, something that I've been thinking about that's been vexing me. And you're right, Eddie. Yeah. Religion does not belong anywhere in the educational system. It does not. But the town I live in is per capita 98% Mormon, and I'm not bagging on Mormons at all. I know lots of wonderful, wonderful people that are LDS. However, because it is so prevalent here, it immerses everything in our community. And in some ways, that's probably not been a bad thing, to be honest. There are a lot of wonderful people that live here, but the naivety, the idea that everybody is the same, and the discrimination has definitely been a problem here. It continues to be a problem here. I've always felt like my kids were a bit of a part of the solution. I've heard people say to me and to them so many times, wait a minute, you're not Mormon? Mm-mm. Oh, well, what religion are you? No, I'm agnostic. Well, but you're such a good person. Because truly, folks here don't understand that you can be a good person, a happy person, a balanced person, and not be a religious person because they've been raised otherwise, to believe otherwise. So here we are, right? Shattering the myths, I guess. I hope. And thanks, you guys, for all of your kind words. I appreciate you so much. I know you'll be hearing a lot more. So she will be a pioneer. That's what her new school mascot will be. That makes me laugh. Yep, she'll be a pioneer. Thank you, Sid, so much. You guys are the best, for sure. All right, well, let's take a look at Luminous, and that'll really bring us front and center into our topic today, and then I will definitely do some readings as well. So if you don't know, I do publish a magazine once a week. Unless I'm sick as hell, you might have noticed that Luminous did not get published last week. I was still working on it on Thursday, and I finally went, at some point, you got to see the writing on the wall and pull the plug. So I finally went, it's not going to happen. It's just not happening this week. And it's okay. Because again, sometimes I'm the one who has a hard time giving myself permission to rest. And I finally went, what are you doing? It's okay to take a week. I feel bad because the people who produce for me, who write for me and create content for me, when they send me stuff, I don't want to let them down and not publish it. This is their hard work. But, I reached out to them and said, I have the plague. And they said, do not publish. You're fine. Don't worry about it. And it was fine. Good lessons for me. Good practice. Practice what I preach, right? Anyway, you can see Luminous. I put it in the chat room. I have also, it's posted on my website at katie-weaver.com. If you just click on the Luminous magazine link, it'll pull up right there. So let's take a look. I had to put crabapple blossoms on the cover this week because my crab is finally flowering and it is gorgeous. I know some of you guys probably flowered a while ago, but in fact, I walked out back and my currant is flowering. Both of my apple trees are flowering. The cherries are getting ready to blossom. Yeah, loving it. All righty. Well, I I did call the magazine this week the Summer Dreams edition because I feel like I'm catching myself and talking to some of you guys too, really looking at the summer with fresh eyes. Like, this is not COVID summer. We can get out, we can do things, we can make plans. And I'm finding some plans starting to bounce around in my brain. They're probably not the same kinds of plans as some of you. I'm not planning on going to concerts or, big events. Just that's not actually my jam anyway. I'm planning more on like going on another cemetery tour, visiting ghost towns, that kind of weird ass stuff that I love to do. But lots of summer daydreams happening right now. I would love to hear what some of your summer daydreams are too. What is it that you want to do this summer? Doesn't even have to be something that you can pull off, right? Just this is a daydream. So what is it that you want to do this summer? All right. My article this week is about the impossible task. And if we're friends on Facebook, you might have noticed that I had posted earlier this morning about the impossible task. And I'm going to tell you how surprised I was to see how many people responded that they too battle with the impossible task. So what is the impossible task? The impossible task is the thing that you build up a wall against, that you can't seem to get done. It could be the phone call, it could be the paperwork, it could be the garage, it could be the kitchen table, it could be 1,000 different things, right? That somehow has become the impossible task. Somehow you have found it in yourself to completely put a block up to not do this. It's a really weird thing. And I don't know if I ever really had the impossible task. Maybe I did, but the last few years I've been much more aware of battling the impossible task. And I see this in my son a lot and others, but we all do this to some degree, I think. But at any rate, so I've been thinking about what do you do to push through the impossible task, right? How do you move through it? How do you make yourself get on with it? So the impossible task at my house has been the taxes, right? Well, we had to get through that one because, they were due yesterday. And what time did we file our taxes last night? About 10. Yeah. Last minute, last day, last second. I have had the money in the bank to pay the taxes for months. It's not that I couldn't. I just haven't done the work. Why? Because it's the impossible task, because it's the thing I didn't want to do. I know. It makes no damn sense, you guys. But if you have the impossible task, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I had done a little research on the impossible task, and I apologize for my sniffling. I know, I'm a hot mess. It was sad or not come on the air today, and I really hated to let you guys down. It has been twice here in the last little while, which, as you know, is very, very odd for me. So here we are. But I do apologize for the sniffle. So I did write down a few thoughts based on some research that I've done, but I'm going to share some thoughts from my friends with you, as well as some professional thoughts with you about the impossible task and how to get through it. Break it into smaller tasks. That sometimes is really helpful. I have discovered that if I feel like I have to eat an elephant in a day, I'm definitely not going to do it. And so breaking it into smaller, more doable tasks sometimes is the very best thing you can do. So I'll definitely agree with that. And sometimes, Tiffany filed at 10:06 p.m. last night too. Good job, Tiffany. At least we did it, right? That's all. Which is crazy because I file for my two older kids. I file theirs every year for them. They've been done for months. Yeah, it's just mine. Anyway, breaking it down into smaller tasks. That really does help, even if it's like gathering what you need, coming back later and doing a little bit more of it, coming back later. for me, a lot of times just getting started actually breaks the glass and then I'm good. But yes, smaller tasks. Reward yourself. I am not above a self-bribe. In fact, I'm all about it. I think bribing yourself is brilliant. I never understood as a parent, like in early childhood, the advice to not bribe your children. Now look, I will say that even being saying that, I'm also a parent that refused to pay for grades. My kids are like, well, so-and-so's mom gives him $100 for every A. And I'm like, my mom didn't pay for grades. If you didn't get an A, she wanted to know why the hell not. There was no paying for grades. There was an expectation of grades. You didn't get rewarded for good grades, but you'd probably be in trouble for not good grades. And that's been the loose, theory I had with my kids too. I did not pay for grades, but I did pay them to use the potty. I bribed all three of my kids to get potty trained. And when my nieces and nephews came along, by God, we bribed them too. Because you know what we learned? They loved buying makeup at the dollar store. And they loved buying Hot Wheels at the dollar store. And they loved buying markers and silly putty and whatever. So if you kept a little change in your pocket and you kept a jar on the back of the potty, and every time they used it, you let them put a little more money in there, and then you let them go to the store and spend that money, well, those kids got potty trained pretty dang quick. And I think it's brilliant, and I don't feel bad about it. So I guess what I'm saying is I can deal with a bribe. I can deal with a bribe. I think self-bribery is brilliant. It's not so much bribery as it's a reward for following through, but also it's probably self-care that you already needed. So why not provide it to yourself, right? So this is where I'm at on that. All right. Set timers and challenge yourself to get a certain amount done. Are you guys familiar with the Fly Lady? The Fly Lady is this cleaning guru. I found her years and years ago, and I love her. She has this program of challenging you to do certain tasks. And her theory is you can do anything for 15 minutes. And I love that theory, and I've used it in my life lots of times. In times of pain, in times of, like, for example, going into surgery and feeling like you're going to panic, like it's they're wheeling you into the room and going, I can do anything for 15 minutes. I will be out before then, any struggle, but also housework. Can you do anything for 15 minutes? You can. So set your timer. Do 15 minutes of that task. If it's not done, walk away and come back. Or maybe you're deep enough into it now that you broke the glass and you're okay. But setting a timer, giving yourself a timeline of how long you actually have to spend on this at a time, that is a good way to at least get started. And a lot of times finishes the impossible task. Enlist the help of a friend. This is a good one. If there's something that you just cannot seem to make yourself do, get some help. Ask somebody else to be a part of it, or at least to help keep you accountable. And that usually works. That usually gets it done for me as well. But, be careful with this, however, with your spouse, because then you open up the door to police each other. And when you police each other, then you will get in a fight. So be a little careful there. But getting a little help from a friend a lot of times helps. Because a lot of times a friend will be like, oh, this is no big deal. We can have this done in 20 minutes. And you go, I've been putting this off for 4 months. Oh my God. Hire someone else to do it. I love that. Maybe, just maybe, you haven't done it because it's not really in your wheelhouse. Maybe you haven't done it because you just really don't want to. Maybe it would be worth the money to just hire someone else to do it for you and have it off your plate. And keep your sense of humor. Don't get too down on yourself. Just don't. You'll never get anything done if you spend all of your time beating yourself up. So learn to laugh about your behavior. Learn to laugh about your own blocks. And be kind to yourself. That's really, really important in the scope of getting through this life nobody makes it out alive anyway. So it's okay to let yourself off the hook and laugh a little bit more about it, right? All right. Well, I wanted to take a look at what some of my friends suggested. Lots of my friends indicated that they too go through this. I was a little surprised, to be honest. Okay, listening to music. One of my friends said she takes a tequila or a shot of Fireball to help her loosen up and get over herself, which I thought was actually kind of brilliant. Let's see. Annika said that she, has never allowed herself to color outside the lines, but once she finally started, now she's a painting fool and getting all kinds of things done because she broke something. She broke the expectation of not breaking the rules, which I thought was awesome. Another friend said she sets deadlines for herself and then does mantras to help herself stay on task. Thought that was great. One friend said she has to hit a breaking point. I do too sometimes. Yep. I try to avoid that. I don't want to hit the breaking point. I don't want to get to the point that I'm in panic mode. But I've done that to myself lots of times. And some people actually thrive on that. They need that deadline, that last minute energy to get something done and love it. Not me. Yep. Another friend said to just count to 5 and do it without overthinking it, or your mind will talk you out of it. Yep. Another friend said that she got a change of scenery, and that made a big difference for her. I thought that was a really good idea when you are stuck. Years ago, when I was writing scopes for 1-2 Listen, I kind of hit a place where I was really stuck in them, and I would have to force myself to do them every week. And once they were done, I liked them and I was proud of them. But to get myself to do them, it was a ridiculous amount of gymnastics, and mental gymnastics to get them done. And so I had the same thought. I thought maybe I just need to completely change where I am and what I'm doing. So I started on Monday mornings early, getting up, loading up my laptop, and going to a little diner. And I'd order coffee and I'd order breakfast, and I would open up my laptop and I would write my scopes there. And that changed it for me. I started looking forward to it. My little taking myself out to breakfast and having this cute little cozy place to go. And even in the winter when the weather was bad, I would go anyway. And that changed that whole task for me. It went from being the impossible task to one that I really looked forward to. Yeah. Let's see. Rewards. Yep. My cousin rewards herself. That's right, with cheesecake. Well, Debbie, that's why we're cousins. Yep. Lots of good suggestions here. And then in tips, this is an article on Healthline called Tips for Anxious People to Overcome the Impossible Task. Split it into smaller tasks. Pair it with something more pleasant. That was the idea behind things like playing music or watching a movie while you do it, or, pair what you have to do that you don't want to do with something you do like to do so that you can get through it. Reward yourself afterwards, like we said. If you used to enjoy the impossible task, sit for a while and try to remember what it felt like to enjoy it. What did your body feel like? What were your thoughts then? How did it feel emotionally? See if you can recover a little of that feeling before you try to do it. I thought that was really, really good advice. A lot of impossible tasks are things you used to like to do. They're hobbies. They're things that you used to enjoy, and now somehow they've turned into this thing that you don't enjoy anymore, or you do enjoy, but you're having a hard time making yourself do it. So I thought that was great advice. What's the worst that could happen if you let it go for today? I like that too, because sometimes today's not the day, and it's all right, and you don't have to kick your own ass for it. It's all right to just decide today's not the day for me to dive into that. I think that's really, really important to remember, because again, we fall into a place of being unkind to ourselves, right? We fall into a place of really negative self-talk. What the hell is wrong with you? It's just a sink of dishes, that kind of stuff. So what's the worst that could happen if you don't do the dishes today, right? Yep. Maureen said that's what she's done with her master's degree, has gone to Starbucks. Yep. That makes a big difference. That's a good one. Okay. Pay someone. Yep. Or trade tasks with someone. I thought that was a good one. Yeah. If you can't go shopping, can you have groceries delivered? Can you switch the chore rotation for the week with a roommate? Interesting. That's a good thought. And of course, ask for support. And this is really important as well. So those are some thoughts on the impossible task. I will say I've talked to lots of you guys that listen over on the lines that I work on that needed some help, a little bump over the ledge of getting an impossible task accomplished. And sometimes that really helps to do some energy work, to break up whatever might be, at least from an energetic place, holding you down or holding you back, and then getting a bit of accountability. I've lots of times said, shoot me a message here through the system once it's done. Let me know how it went. And a lot of times you do, and say, guess what? I did it. It's over, and it's fine. Great. Sometimes that's what we need. I have hired coaches before. I hired a coach to help me get that first book done because it sat for years unfinished. It became the impossible task, of course. And that really helped. The accountability piece, for some of us, it depends on your personality, but that really helps for me. Because again, I don't like letting other people down. Apparently, I have no problem letting myself down. But letting other people down, that's not happening. Okay. So there's some thoughts on the impossible task. And I know that you guys are a way to, that you guys also deal with that. And maybe you didn't even know until today what that was called, but that's what it's, called. That's what it becomes. I don't know. Hopefully I helped you as well as helping myself. My impossible task has become pouring resin. Like I can still buy molds with the best of them, but I'm not doing anything with them. And it's dumb. I have so much cool stuff I want to make that I have everything I need to make, and I'm just not doing it. Now, I know that creativity comes and goes for me. It ebbs and flows. And I'm obviously in the ebb right now, and I'm annoyed with being in the ebb, and I want to create the flow. Sometimes you just have to wait for the flow to start flowing. I know that. But in the meantime, I'm uncomfortably rocking around waiting for it to hit. Maureen said, I make my working boys who live free and clear at my home pay for a cleaning lady. That's an awesome idea. I pay for a cleaning lady too. I think it's very, very worth that. But good for you, Maureen. That's actually such a great boundary to set with them that you live here and you're going to help. So if you don't want to physically help, you're going to help pay for help. The end. Brilliant. Okay, let's keep moving. So we have bitch scopes from Kelly called Dating, Mating, and Relating. So anyway, it's about relationships this week. That's pretty obvious. I love what she had to say. Lots of really good information about what's coming up this week. And lots going on, too. A lot going on. So let's take a look at, well, it's almost your birthday, Gemini, so let's go there. She said, Gemini, you may feel discouraged about the direction of your career. Maybe someone you trusted didn't come through for you, or maybe you feel outright betrayed. This coming eclipse and retrograde season, your business partnerships have the potential to be redefined and improved. You are poised to have a pretty big realization about your role in the professional realm. Have faith that the right people and opportunities will show up for you at the perfect time. Awesome. Be sure to check out your scope and, of course, the scope of your family members. It's always good to take a look at what's going on with them, too, so that you can be ready to help them deal. You know what I mean. All right, the tip of the week is a grounding technique. One of you guys shared this with me, the theory behind it, a while ago, and I thought it was brilliant. So, a calming technique to help help you to connect with the world, help ground back into your body if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling really out of your space. So, identify 5 things you can see, and 4 things you can touch, and then 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And it might take you a few minutes to get through that list, but that's a good way to get back into your body, to get back into the present. If you're feeling a little out of your space, that's a good way to get back in. Okay. And then, of course, there's so much more, and I'll let you guys check that out. I did want to point out what we have going on this week at True Crime Paranormal. So as you know, I have a podcast with Christy. You guys, we are just about to celebrate 100,000 downloads of the podcast. So we're super excited. Our goal was to get there by June, and I think we'll probably get there by the end of tomorrow, if not Thursday. So we're super, super excited about it. I'm going to just put a link here in the chat room for you guys if you're interested. We are True Crime Paranormal on YouTube and on all the podcasting places you can think of. But we had a couple of fun cases. Oh, I don't know if they're fun. We had a really fun case break this week, actually. So we did cover Ed Gein, who, that's not fun. He was, he was an accused serial killer. We don't really think he was a serial killer. He was a killer, just not serial. That did a lot of really gross things with bodies. He's really famous. You've probably heard of him. If you haven't, you've seen movies that were based on him. But the case that I debuted this morning, The Incredible Tale of Bobby Dunbar, is such a fun one, an interesting one. Be sure, even if true crime isn't your jam, you'll like this one. I promise. Okay. Had to take a quick cough break. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, go listen to the story about Bobby Dunbar. It is really interesting. And there's no murder. I know. Can you believe it? So that's what's going on at True Crime Paranormal this week, and so much more. Oh, we got a message last night on our Facebook page that absolutely warmed my heart. So we covered an Idaho serial killer a few months ago that he killed an inmate at the Idaho Penitentiary in the early 80s, and a guy named David. And David shouldn't have been in prison. David had tried to kill himself when he was a teenager. He tried to shoot himself and was unsuccessful, and he had a pretty serious brain injury and physical disability from that. And this guy, he was a serial killer, he's on death row still, was angry with him. He was the janitor in the role of a janitor in the prison. He was also a prisoner. Pardon me. And he got mad at him and he beat him to death. And we had covered that story a while ago and talked about David and how we wish we knew more about him and about his life. And it seemed like he had a really tragic life, and it was really sad. He was like 22. And just looking at the disabilities he had, absolutely should have never been in a state penitentiary. Anyway, his niece reached out to us last night. She saw our episode. She wanted to thank us for being so kind about him and for recognizing that he shouldn't have been in prison, and that this, it was a huge miscarriage of justice on his part. But also had more information for us about his life and why things ended up for him the way they did. It was just so awesome. True crime is grisly, and sometimes it's kind of awful, but it can be really rewarding sometimes. And when we hear from families who we have helped in some way, it is everything to me. So anyway, I was really excited to hear that. Uh, Even more sad for poor David and his situation after hearing what he'd been through. He actually found his mother. His mother killed herself, and he found her. And it really put him on a really bad path. And also had a super, super abusive father that made life really hard on him. Anyway, but to know that his family saw our work and that it meant something to them, that we recognized who he was, yeah, I'll take that. So let's take a look in the chat room. I'm seeing lots of requests here. Let's work on a few things. Okay. All right, Tiffany said, would it be in my best and highest good to have my upcoming bone marrow biopsy and aspiration done through my oncologist at the Cancer Center in Rancho Mirage or through my infectious disease doctor at the Cancer Center in Palm Springs? The procedure would be done differently at each location and both are nearby. I kind of initially resonate more with the oncology clinic. And you really will have to weigh out your insurance and, exactly, how you resonate with each of them. But Tiffany, the oncology clinic resonates with me more in the at first blush. So do what's right for you, but that's what comes forward to me off the cuff. Let's see. Pamela said, I have an elderly friend in distress. Her name is Anne, and she lives in Florida next to a canal. Every now and then she gets unwanted visitors. This time she saw what is called a coconut rat. This critter has done some damage, and she's ready to jump out of her skin. She has sprayed everything with mint to no avail. Can you help? Ooh, I will try. Let's try and tune into her through you and then into her critter. The coconut rat has the funniest little energy. They're almost like mischievous. So funny. All right, I'm heading them back to the canal. There's more than one. I'm telling them they need to move on from there. I'm trying to just build a little boundary too around her home. I can see why she's worried. I think these guys could do some damage, especially because I feel like they do damage for fun. Oh, let's see how that does, Pamela. And if that doesn't, if we can't get him out of there that way, maybe she and I need to make contact. But that, we'll see how we do there. Yeah. Okay, Jean said, may I please have a message regarding what my next job will be? I have been unemployed since March and I'm actively looking. It looks to me like it's in an office, Jean. I see you putting some kind of data or stats or of some sort into a computer. I feel like that job will be coming mid-June. So keep getting your applications in, keep going. I feel like something's coming up actually quite soon. Okay. Let's see. All right, so it says, will you please pull a card to push, see if this is the time to push the edge with patchouli and start trimming her nails at home by myself. Her groomer is disrupting the routine we had and doesn't want to work on her anymore after just 2 sessions. It doesn't seem right because patchouli was really good and only snapped one time when she felt pain. I don't want to mess up and scare her after she's made so much progress. Taking a chance with a brand new groomer could backfire too. It does feel a bit precarious, Sid. I'm just going to tune in with patchouli. So I'm going to just show her you lifting her paw, just tipping the end of her toes, just tipping the nails, not taking much. And that you'll be talking to her the whole time. Yep. Okay, I showed her all 4 feet. And I asked her, while you do her nails, I asked her to please just close her eyes and put her head down into submission, knowing that you're going to be really careful. Yeah. She does trust you, Sid. She has nervousness about those feet because she's been injured before. I don't feel like there's any right or wrong time. I feel like there's probably no time like the present if they need done. But I am seeing to do them frequently and just take the tips. Don't be a hero about it. Even if they really need done, don't take a big bunch. Just take the tips and keep taking the tips every time to, keep working them down a little bit. Yep. Yep. Okay, Maureen said, had a Zoom interview this AM with a biotech med device company. It went fabulous. Position is perfect and the compensation is excellent. My resume was forwarded back to the hiring manager and she will contact me for an interview to be scheduled. They're making a decision by the end of the month. I also told my toxic job 2 weeks ago I was done. They have deaf ears. Any thoughts? Yeah. Maureen, you need to just give them a done by date. They don't believe you. You just need to let them know. Even if this job does feel really good, I have no guarantees because, hiring has become quite the fickle thing these days. But I do feel like it feels good. I feel like they're super impressed with you. You're exactly the kind of candidate they're looking for. So I have a lot of hope in that front. But with current job, you just need to give them a done by date and let them know that, May 31st or whatever you're looking at will be your last day, and just make it official. Because no, they're not listening. They're not going to listen. Yep. Yep. Okay. I think we've got to jump into the other chat. Yes. Okay. All righty. Oh, hello, Todd. Okay. Sounds like Belle has the plague too. Blah. We hate it. Okay. Lillian said, if you could help me with a couple of issues. She's very worried about her friend Tom. He lives in Mobile and has recently undergone severe drastic changes. He refuses to speak with anyone. Could you please advise me? So he is just, he's going to settle into these changes. He kind of has that energy of, he's scaring himself with how much he'd like to fall apart on all of this. And he has that fear that if he falls apart, he'll never come back together. It's going to take him some time. I do really worry. I worry about his blood pressure because when I feel him, there's just so much pressure inside of him. So just, if you can, just continuing to send him love and just friendliness, and that's it. No expectation. That's what he needs. Yep. And on your throat, let's see. I don't think it's your throat chakra, honey. I think it is physical. I do. I feel like there's a little something going on there. It wouldn't hurt to mention that to your doctor. Okay. Let's see. So Deb says she applied for a new position today. Is it the right move? Yeah, it is. I feel like that position would provide you with more money and more respect than where you are. And you know that it's kind of a fresh start for you in a sense, and that your experience and what you bring to the table would be respected more in that position, Deb. And so, yeah, I can understand your trepidation for sure. But honestly, I feel like if you make that move, you won't regret it because it just seems to me like it's a natural progression for you. And hey, you deserve to receive more respect and always deserve to receive more money. All right, Trish said, I am worried about Dad. How is he doing? Boy, Trish, he is low, isn't he? Yeah. And I think you are feeling like he's putting on a brave face, but he's not doing as well when you're not around, which is true. So Mom says that his memory has slipped a lot, and he's doing the best he can to cover for you kids. That's what your mama said. But he's not very good. She's keeping a close eye on him too, but she's a little worried about just his day-to-day habits and self-care because she says his memory is the thing that's worrying her. He might seem a little quiet, a little low. A lot of that is covering so that he doesn't have to admit that his memory has slipped as much as it has. But you have every reason to worry, Trish. I'd keep a close eye on that. It concerns me. Things that concern me with that are like leaving the stove on or, forgetting and leaving the car running or leaving, doing things that don't make sense. That's what worries me. So she's keeping a close eye on him too. And, she'll come and poke you if she needs to, to keep an eye there. Yes. Yeah. You are so welcome, Deb, and keep us posted. I think this is a good thing. I'm proud of you. I know it's not easy for you to reach out to elevate yourself because you don't do that, but I'm glad you did. Okay, one more quick look here. It looks like we're just about out of time. Yeah, Pamela said she was in tears yesterday about the coconut rat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping we can run them along, Pamela. They do have a funny little personality, though, I gotta tell you. Tiffany said she's done those tests 3 times in the past, but not since 2015 at both locations. Insurance will cover both. Good. I don't feel like you can really go wrong either way, Tiffany, honestly. I feel like either way you're going to get the service that you need and be taken care of. For some reason, I just resonated more with that. Okay, Trish said that's how she's feeling about Dad, too. Yeah. So we'll keep Mom on the job, She said, not like he ever listens to me. Yes, he does. He will. Yep. But Trish, I think if you guys are feeling like you're kind of nearing a place where he can't really live at home alone anymore, I think you're absolutely correct about that. All righty, guys, we have done it. We've talked down to the end of the show. Thank you for being here. I will be back on Thursday morning with Strange Phenomena and Mysteries. I am on the creature feature this week. I already have a creature to feature, and it's going to be awesome, so I can't wait. Stay tuned for Living the Good Life right now with Robert Underwood. You have been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio.